It's Cypris Wild. Hello, and welcome to the wild. Are you one of my wild things? Do you want to be? Subscribe to my channel, and you can join us where the wild things are. But really, what is this wild thing anyway? I want to chat with you for a little bit about what wildness means to me. Of course, we must first acknowledge Maurice Sendak's 1963 book, Where the Wild Things Are. That was definitely a part of my childhood, and I think it was probably a part of lots of childhoods for us. I really just love the idea that there's a place where all the parts of you that aren't fit for human consumption have a home, and you can go to that place and celebrate those parts of you, and also importantly look them in the eye and master them. That's just really liberating and really powerful. So I like that story for that. But also, there was a book in my childhood called Lamont, the Lonely Monster. This was a 1970 publication by Dean Wally, who's the author, and you probably haven't heard of it because there was only one printing. And that is, as far as I'm concerned, a crime in literary history, because this was a really great book. It's about a monster named Lamont who is really, really scared of monsters. And basically, he's really lonely, but he's really scared of monsters. And it's a pop-up book as you go through it. And all the little monsters do all these little animated things as you play with the tabs. And of course, by the end of the book, Lamont discovers that he himself is a monster, and he doesn't have to be afraid because all these creatures are his friends. So he's not lonely and he's not afraid anymore because he's learned to embrace the wildness, right? So between Where the Wild Things Are and Lamont the Lonely Monster, like, monsters were a positive in my childhood. And then, of course, there was the little golden book version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It came out in 1972. I had to look this stuff up. And it was based on the 1964 NBC special that we've all seen. They play it every single December to this day. The stop-motion Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer show, cartoon, program, whatever it is. And that too, it's very similar. You've got this reindeer who's being bullied because of this monstrous facial deformity, and it's not until he learns to use that to find in his freakishness his own personal magic, and that's when everything comes together for him, and then suddenly everybody likes him. Right? Fake friends. You do what you gotta do. So basically the message that I got in my childhood was, and this was a positive message. I got a lot of negative messages in my childhood, but this one was positive. It's okay to be a freak if you can master that freakishness and find your true power in that freakishness. So I'm really happy that I had those stories as a kid. And then later in my adulthood, I was exposed to Clarissa Pink Estes' Women Who Run with the Wolves. And many of you will recognize that title because it's a fundamental book for understanding what's really going on in the female psyche. It was 1992 that came out. And in the introduction to the book, Estes talks about this term, wild woman. Her explanation is that this term that she uses is about the wildness in everybody, not crazy wild, but instinctual wild. Like she compares it to the instincts that wolves have, the wisdom that comes from being in touch with your instincts, and she calls it lo que sabe, the one who knows. So the idea is that you can get in touch with that wild part of yourself, this part that's always connected to the higher knowing, the divine, that part of you that's never wrong, the instinctual, healthy instinct, the instinctual part of yourself that is connected to that wild knowing, as she calls it. This book was really influential for me. It's really influential for just about anybody who reads it. So this book is all about, it's a roadmap for how to connect with that wild self, that instinctual knowing. And so taken all together, in embracing my last name, Wild, I'm drawing on all of those stories and ideas and concepts from my childhood and from my young adult life, and just celebrating the native wildness that is in each of us. And it's about mastering it, right? Looking your demons in the eye, and well, you can never really quite master the demons. They're kind of not tameable things, but befriending them, befriending your demons and working with them, letting them be your power rather than letting them destroy you, which is what happens when you fear them, right? You fear your demons, you're gone, you're toast. But if you make friends with your demons, well, that's the stuff of legends, right? So that's what we're going for here, is celebrating the innate wild wisdom that is in all of us if we can access it, and working on figuring all of that out. So if any of this talk about wildness resonates with you, then maybe come along for the journey. Stay tuned. You too can be one of my wild things. Subscribe to my channel, and until next time, keep it real and keep it wild.